Hello Nippies, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, hi, hello, I'm Nips, a freelance artist, and today we're going to be working on week 2 of Inktober. And if you don't know what that is, it's a month-long yearly event that artists partake in where you draw every day in the month of October in ink, preferably. But the cool thing is it's kind of evolved into this thing where you just draw daily if you can, and if you miss some days, some people just do catch-up days. All my drawings are themed over my characters from my 18+ comic offsell, which if you want to read, the links will be down below. Today we're going to be working on 8 days because I missed some days and I grouped some into like themed groups, which is pretty fun. I've already done week 1, so if you want to check that video out, I'll put it in the top right of the corner. If not, I'll also have the links down in the description below. Let's get right into the speed paints. All right, so jumping right into it, you'll see that we have a weird angle, questionable quality, the lighting is off, everything is just off. The reason that it's like this, and don't worry, it's only gonna last for like a minute or two, I promise. And the reason it looks like this is because I was testing out a mobile streaming setup, because by the time that you're watching this, I will be in Europe. I'll be backpacking Europe for the majority of the first half of 2022, and I just need a good streaming setup, IRL, digital art, and traditional art. So that's why it looks like this. So anyway, here we are starting with characters Yotaro, Pinko, Rusco, which are Anya's kind of group members, and this is where I think I fully let go, and I'm just like, fuck it, I want to do colors, I'm going to do them, and I don't care if it doesn't match anything else. I'm just gonna do whatever I want, because the more restrictions I have, the more stressed out I get, because I have to follow too many things and I can't just intuitively draw. At least for me, I'm a very intuitive person as far as like not just art, but pretty much anything. Like I don't do really well with formulas, equations, like things like color theory. Like you can tell me and I'll understand it, but I won't be very good at applying it. I just do well with like winging everything. So, and it's not good. Everything has its pros and cons. There are a lot of people that are very formulaic and they need, you know, the formulas, they need the rule book, the bullet points, and they're not very intuitive. So everything is a give and take, everything is pro and con. And I think this is like a slight tangent, but I do think it's important for you to, as an artist and obviously as a person and everything, to figure out what kind you are. And you could be a mix, because you can be intuitive for certain things and need a little bit more bullet points for others. But I think that was one of the things that really helped me as an artist to truly understand myself and know how to improve, because I just didn't understand why I could read all the color theory, the perspective, and practice it and do it, but it never really came easy. Like I felt like I had to spend 4 times as long in order for certain things to click, rather than certain people who just understood it. But as far as intuition goes, like I feel like I'm much more comfortable just going with the flow and like intuitively making perspective grids or intuitively figuring out what colors look good where. Because I know that I'm more of an intuitive artist, I can find intuitive ways to study formulaic things, if that makes any sense, like perspective or color theory or things like that. So for example, something that really helped me as far as perspective goes is I'll look at finished perspective grids or pictures or anything and then deconstruct it and work backwards. And a lot of the times, like, it'll help me truly understand why a certain thing works a certain way. Not that like if you're formulaic this won't help you, because I feel like this is just helpful, but it's like the most helpful way that I can understand something, as opposed to just being told that it works a certain way. But anyway, that was a long ass tangent for what this is. So you'll notice that we are back to our regularly scheduled program. We've got the nice quality here. So hopefully this is something that is much easier on the eyes. If you're wondering why I'm doing 3 pictures at one time for Inktober, is that for the days that I missed, I would do catch-up days. And so I kind of came up with this fun idea to merge the catch-up days together and kind of make them themed. And it would be kind of a cute way to say, okay, well, I did do the drawings, but I didn't do them on the same day. And if you go through the book, you'll realize which days I did together and which ones I didn't. I don't know, it's just kind of like a cute way to like turn the days that you missed into something fun. Or it's like, oh, well, now all of these can go together. So I don't know, maybe that's just me. This event is really about having fun. I feel like I say this like a little too much, but this event for me is just about having fun. So even if I miss a day or two, maybe I'm not feeling it that day or whatever, as long as I catch up, I don't really mind. As long as I move my pen, like I'm okay. So just missing a day or 2 or even 3 is really not that big of a deal. And I found that this was such a fun way to incorporate the missing days and do something bigger and fun with it. Even if I had to break it down a little bit more, sometimes when I'm drawing in my sketchbook and I'm doing like something that isn't quite a scribble but not exactly a sketch, it's just kind of like, I don't even know how to explain it, but if I have to change the subject and the thought process a little bit too much in between, like from piece to piece, it becomes extremely exhausting. And so if I had to think about these 3 pieces as individual pieces, like, oh, now I have to do this one and then this one and then this one, I feel like I would be extremely exhausted. So for example, each of these took me at least 45 minutes maybe. So like a total of at least 3 to 4 hours, give or take, which is something I'm pretty proud of. But I feel like it only took that amount of time because to me, it felt like one long picture rather than 3 individual ones. Yeah, I feel that's definitely something to think about. I feel like just kind of mentally stopping for each picture takes time because you have to stop and start, stop and start. Whereas with here, it felt more like just one continuous thing. Like I started once and I ended once. So So you see how it goes from complete black and white to complete, like, not complete color, but definitely I took the color splashes pretty far. And the colors for their family are teal and orange, and like you have like the light bright orange, and then you have the darker more brick orange, and then you have the bright teal, and then the darker more like desaturated teal. And I absolutely love that color combination. I love the colors individually as well. And so I just could not help myself. I think that's also what like spurred the fuck it attitude, is that I knew I was gonna draw these 3 and I thought of the colors and my brain was like, there is no way that you draw this and don't add color. So I'm pretty sure that's how it went, because it's already been 2 months, 3 months since Inktober. So it's been a while, but I'm pretty sure that was my thought process. here, moving on to the next one. This one here is spicy. This one is spicy, and I don't want to elaborate too much, but hopefully with this close-up, once I start drawing it, you will see what it is about. But I think at this point I chose Anya and Sasuke, which are the subjects of this next piece, because I think at this point I hadn't really drawn them. I drew Anya with Pinkle, and then I drew Sasuke in the Fish Islands one, and I really just do not like that drawing. I think that drawing is I'm very disappointed in myself for that drawing. I am just proud that I went for it, but it was definitely not the vision that I had in mind. And so I figured it would be fun to draw them together, especially since like they're one of the canon couples in the comic. And I don't know where my mind was that I was like, yeah, this is what I want to draw. This is the one right here. I'm trying to remember. I don't know if it was the tattoos from her group, from her family, that have like the symbols, and I really want to show hers, and hers was on her back. And so, you know, one thing led to another, and now she's here, strapped up and clearly going. So, but jokes aside, I really do enjoy how this piece came out. This is one of my favorites in the series. I think it's because I don't typically draw like back-facing characters. Like I typically always draw them looking at the camera, like posing, you know, very dynamic, moving. And there was just really something about this one that the subject being so close to the camera and so in focus, but not showing their face, and it's her back, was something that I really enjoyed. So drawing it felt really amazing because I felt like she was very much the subject and very much in control, but at the same time, like you just couldn't see her face. And I don't know, like there's something about this piece that I really like and I'm very proud of. So hopefully you guys enjoy this one. I will say I did start doing the lines. You'll notice that I did the lines with a more inky thin pen. So I moved from ballpoint to I think it's a 0.03 or a 0.3 gel pen. So you'll notice that the line quality is different, and when you put the Copic over it, it doesn't blend it out into blue. It doesn't bleed, kind of like the first drawing did. What I did was, so it didn't look too different from the originals, I did splash some ballpoint pen shading on top, so that way it still kind of feels like it belongs with the rest of the drawings. So I did say fuck it, but I do think it's nice to do the fuck it, and then once you're done fucking it, then you kind of go back and, you know, it's like, oh, I can make it match a little bit by adding, you know, a little ballpoint pen and this and that. Then here you see me do the white paint. It's a deleter paint. And honestly, I used to use the Faber-Castell white highlight pens. I have some white gel pens as well, but some of those are just not as vibrant as like straight up paint. And the deleter paint is incredibly pigmented for how little you use. And it's in just such a nice little compact pot. Then moving on to the next day was a doodle of him. And I think I'm drawing him here because I drew him first with Effie and I hadn't drawn him alone. I don't know if I was just thinking about pink and fun things and then I decided to just draw him. I don't know. Sometimes my brain comes up with just strange reasons to draw things. So I really wanted to just put a lot of candy, pop, cute things on him. And I do remember this part was an idea that I had very spontaneously. I told myself that if I had the idea, I wouldn't be scared to do it and that I would just do it. And so you'll see me here like start applying the shapes and then I get kind of tilted with the shape of his eyes. At this point, I don't have flipped canvas. So a lot of the struggles that I'm having here are because I'm very used to flipping my canvas. So what happens, you get spoiled. And then when you draw on paper and you don't have your Control Z, your Control T, all of that good stuff, it starts to hit you. I do like drawing traditionally because you realize some of the habits that you have from drawing digitally once you make traditional drawing a regular habit. So keep in mind those things so that you don't, not that you'll lose the ability to draw traditionally, but it definitely will affect it. It definitely will affect it in how you see things. So I encourage to keep a healthy relationship with both. You'll see me here start adding all the little shapes, fun, cute things, little stars, so adorable. And I remember that I went to go add some colors to the stickers and ended up kind of regretting it because some of the colors that I chose, I was just not a huge fan of. At this point, I don't have all my art supplies. So because I'm traveling, at this point, I've already moved out of the apartment that I was in order to leave to Europe. And so I basically packed as if I was leaving to Europe already, which means that I had already packed a small amount of art supplies that I deemed kind of like not essential, but like the ones that I wanted to take with me. And so I didn't have all the colors that I had in mind. And so you see me like go over the red because I didn't like how it looked. And then I started getting tilted about it and I didn't even finish his eye. And in the end, I still kind of really enjoyed how it looked. I tried not to let it get the best of me. So you see me here just like, okay, don't think about it, just keep going. It'll be fun, it's cool, just add deleter ink everywhere. What could possibly go wrong? And I don't know, I feel like a lot of these drawings are not my best, but that's kind of the point. And not in a copium way, but more in a be kind to yourself way. Like, these are really just supposed to be fun, they're quick, and you did something that day. So I think that's important to remind yourself of. Not everything has to be a masterpiece. Here we go on to the next ones. And here you have 13, 14, and 15, and another 3 together, not complete. Here I decided to go with 3 characters that I don't actually draw almost ever, and that's Enzo, which is one of the main side characters, and then Zimmi and Lala, who is Enzo's SO. Zimmi is also a pretty, I mean, they're all pretty significant side characters, but Enzo's kind of like one of the main side characters. I thought it would be fun to draw them. I was just thinking about every character that I had and how many times I had already drawn them in Inktober and who needed some more attention and who needed to do what. I think one of my favorite things about Enzo and Lala is just how cute they are with each other. And so I really wanted to find a very wholesome pose and expressions for them. And Enzo's like he's a himbo. Like he's like, him and Pim are like kind of prototype himbos, except Pim is a little bit more troubled than Enzo, so Enzo is like more prototype. And Lala's basically like your goth GF, you know? I kind of really like their dynamic, and I tried to find a way to kind of show it in a little small set of 2 rectangles here, and I'm not sure if that did the job, but I really do enjoy this drawing. Maybe it's gonna be obvious after I say it, but one of the things with this drawing is that there are certain parts that just make absolutely no sense. And the reason that I didn't even bother to make it make sense is because it was on the fold of the paper, and I was like, this is a sketch. Like, I'm just not doing all of that. Like, I don't want to figure out where her shirt is actually. I don't want to figure any of that stuff out. Like, I don't care. So I left it like I just did a bunch of like hatching, and I was like, listen, it's up to the imagination. What you can figure out what is in there, because I'm not going to do the work. I don't want to do the work. I am underpaid and I am exhausted. So I'm not gonna do this. But jokes aside, I really just like drew myself into a corner, and I figured, I was like, okay, listen, I know what I want to do. I know where I want her hand, his head, like I know the expressions. So I'm just gonna draw them, and everything in between doesn't really matter. Like it really doesn't. Sometimes not everything has to be super anatomically correct and detailed and fleshed out and rendered. Like, I know what I want, I drew what I wanted, and that was it. I don't have to draw anything else. So I got that out of the way. I did her face, did his face, her hands, his arms like going around her, and that was it. Don't need to do anymore. So I was pretty happy about that. Like, even if it didn't make any sense, I was happy with the outcome because I did what I came to do. This next one is Zimmi, which, you know, I've drawn her with Yotaro several times, so I'll just leave it at that. But she is super cute, and I really, really wanted to show her, like, just happy. She's very, like, carefree, happy, cute, and I feel like her little teeth and the little tattoos and her kind of sparse eyebrows just give her a lot of character. I just find her really fun. I wanted to make a drawing that felt fun for her. So technically these two drawings aren't together because it's kind of like how I did the Yotaro, the Rusco, and the Pinko, but they do still kind of feel together because like I tried to keep the color scheme and the color usage kind of in the same ballpark. So they do, to me, still feel like they belong together, thankfully. I wanted to include her somehow in the drawing, but it just like wasn't realistic because the pose was just, it was just meant, that pose and angle was just meant for two people, and it just looks really nice like that. So I decided to just draw her basically in her own complete different drawing, but still in the same style so that you know those three basically belong together. Zimmi is a character that I barely draw ever. I'm happy with the few times that I've drawn her and shown her to the world. Here you see me kind of going back with the darker pen that I was telling you guys about, the 0.3 kind of gel pen, and going over the ballpoint pen, because these I did do kind of like the originals. Most of the parts that are creeping into the next pages, so you see like the back part of Pim's hair there, I went in and I added the black hatching. I usually will leave it open just to make sure that there's some flexibility, so that when I go into the next drawings, I'm not like confined to whatever it is that I set foot the day before. So here you'll see me just really trying to close out the drawing. Sometimes I have trouble calling something finished, so I'm searching for my feeling of completion. There it is. So this is week 2 of Inktober. I am so sorry that this video came so late. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys thought down in the comments below. I'll put the links to the drawings, the sketchbook, and the sketchbook tour of this whole book will be up sometime this year as well, and it'll be in the shop for you to get if you are interested in looking at the pieces in high quality at your own pace. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the commentary as well, and I will put the links to my comic down below as well. Remember, it is 18+, so police yourselves. Go ahead, comment, like if you like the video, and subscribe. Join the Nippy family. The more, the merrier. I will see you guys next video. Bye.